Hi artists, in this video I'm going to show you how we can make a cup that is the head of an animal. So in my case I'm making a wolf. So you're going to have your clay, you're going to need your mat, you're going to need your fork and your knife, and a pencil might be handy too. And you don't have to make a wolf, I just am. So with your mat, if it's rolled up, you might unroll it and roll it the opposite direction, so the bottom out, and that'll help to flatten it. But then the first thing we're going to do with our clay is we're going to twist it to break it into two pieces. I want one piece a little bigger than the other. And then I'm going to roll it into a ball a little bit. And then I'm going to use my thumbs to make a crater in it. So digging in. And then with my thumb on the inside and my fingers on the outside, I'm pinching. And what I'm doing there is you're squeezing that clay and stretching it. You can press the bottom to give a flat bottom to it. You can, and the more you pinch on the sides, the bigger and wider this is going to be. You can also use your fingers and you can draw up. So starting at the bottom and pulling up, and you can make it taller that way. And the more you work with it, the more you'll figure out what works for you for shaping it into the shape you want it to be. So, top doesn't have to be perfect. Whole thing doesn't have to be perfect. It's supposed to be an animal, so it shouldn't have a perfect smooth form, because animals don't have a perfect smooth form. But I'll tell you later how we can fix that top if you're worried about the top, if you want it to be smoother, especially if you're going to use it for something, if you're going to drink from it. Alright, so let's take another piece, and I'm going to add my snout. So most animals have some kind of feature on them. A lot of animals have like a long snout. So like wolves have a snout, bears, giraffes, dolphins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a piece and I'm going to pinch that snout. So I'm going to start with that, and the way I'm going to do that actually is I'm actually going to dig my thumb in there to make it hollow. There's a couple of reasons for it to be hollow. Anytime we're making something hollow, it's saving us space. It's saving us clay. It's also making sure that we don't leave a spot gooey and thick, especially if you are someone in class doing clay that goes in a kiln. It can't be too thick. But what I'm doing is I'm keeping my thumb on the inside, and then I'm kind of drawing that back, working with it to shape it. So moving the clay around as opposed to sticking pieces on. Alright, so I've got an okay shape, and I want to stick that on there. I can't just stick it on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to score this side of my cup. So using my fork to scratch it up. I'm going to do the same thing on the ends of that shape that I pinched. Looks kind of sort of like a cone. And what I'm going to do is add some water on there. That's going to be our slip, our glue. And what I'm going to do first to make this stick is I want to wiggle this. So wiggle it, move it around some until it stops. So I'm kind of twisting my arm back and forth, twisting that until it's not really, until it doesn't want to move very well. Alright, so Then I'm going to start to blend this. And you're probably thinking like me that that is not exactly the shape I want. So I'm going to show you a trick for fixing that. So that's not exactly the way I wanted it. It got a little messed up when I was twisting things. So here's how I can fix that. I'm going to blend on the outside. And then, so I got my cup. What I'm going to actually do is I'm going to poke a hole in that. I'm going to take my thumb and go through. So see, there's that hole. So that's breaking these two. And that's going to do two things. One, that's going to give me access to the inside of that cone shape that I made. And it's going to help me blend these two together, get rid of seams. But then I can get a finger inside here and I can press it from the inside and reshape it from the inside too. So then I'm not just stuck with this shape. I can tweak it from the inside and the outside and get it more of the way that I want it to be. And if you end up drinking from this later, then that gives you more drink. That gives you more space for drinking from. So if you get any little micro cracks like this, I think it helps to blend across to get rid of them. You might take a little bit of water and slip on there, but blending across helps to get rid of cracks, micro cracks. You might put a little water on them too, but blending across helps. But the more you handle this, the more cracks you're going to get because your body heat is drying that out. All right, let's talk about adding other features. So other shapes we could use. So other things we could do. We can pinch shapes, of course. We can also cut out shapes. So I'm going to cut out sort of a triangular shape. So I flatten that out, cut it a little bit, and then I'm going to put this on the side. So we can scratch, we can score and slip. Another way you can attach things is you can make a dimple in places, and that's going to help it to give it a place to stick as well. Add a little pull into my dimple, pull of water, and then wiggle that a little bit. And then I'm going to shape this a little bit more. But I wanted it to stick before I really shaped it. So for my eyes, other features like that. So you can keep cutting out shapes. Like if I wanted more of a nose than I have here, I might pinch or make a little ball, flatten it, and then I could stick that on there. That might give me a better nose than what I have there. But just remember that anytime you stick something on, you've got to make sure that you get it stuck on right. So I really want to make sure that I water wiggle blend this so that that nose doesn't fall off. That would be sad. So stick it on, try to blend a little bit. You can also draw features on there. So like if I wanted an eye, you just want to make sure you don't, whenever you're drawing something, don't dig all the way through. Don't dig all the way through. You're just making a little relief carving basically. So just making small indentions. I might do the same thing to get like my wolf's mouth. So just pressing in, making indentions. I use my fork to get fur and not really being going in one direction, kind of making it more random so it'll look more textured. Alright, and I said that I would show you two ways we could flatten out that top, make the top more even. One way you can make the top more even is that we could use our knife, and I've got these bumps, so I could literally carve those bumps away to make it more even. Downside of that is that then we're making it a little bit shorter. So, but if you've run out of clay, this would be the last thing I would do. So if you have no more clay, carve it off. It's going to shorten it a little bit, but it'll fix your problem of an uneven top. If you have extra clay, make a coil and try to make it an even coil if you can. So roll it on the table. And then what I can do to even this out is score a little bit water and then add that coil on top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend. So you can blend down, you can blend down, and see how that's giving me my more even top. But I want to make sure that piece is blended in really well. So I want to do this on the outside, and then I want to do this on the inside. Remember, no seams. So you can blend down, you can blend up. But in either case, we want to get rid of seams. As best we can. So kind of like that part right there where I can't really see. Can't really see where my coil has stopped and the rest of my cup is. But that's going to start to even out that top if you have any. You could also cut it off like we said. But I hope that's been helpful. Happy making, and I'll see you next time in art.